Welcome back to Trinity Canines, and today we're going to continue our journey with Michael, Michelle, and their beautiful pup Mango, and we're going to address a couple common questions. One, how do we deal with our dog around children, especially when it's a puppy? Second, we're going to dive into what to do when you're kenneling your dog, or maybe you have to travel and you have to leave your dog overnight. And finally, we're going to tackle the desperate struggle of counter surfing. Now, when we get into the child care portion, I'm going to be very honest. Dogs are here to support us, not necessarily the other way around, and so we have to be honoring of what our dog needs, especially as a puppy around children. We'll talk about kenneling your dog, taking your dog to a daycare, taking your dog to a dog park. What kind of behaviors should you be looking at and paying attention to as you make the decision about where to house your dog? And finally, counter surfing. This one's a topic that might sound a little bit harsh. There's a lot of opinions on how to deal with counter surfing for your dog. I want to remind you that 1 ounce of chocolate for 1 pound of dog is fatal to the dog. We have to take counter surfing very, very seriously. And don't forget to hang around to the end because Mango's going to get introduced to its first horse. Whew, that's a big dog. Thanks for joining us. Let's get started on Trinity Canines.
When we chatted on Monday or Tuesday, we expressed the whole wanting to play, especially with like younger children and other dogs,
Right.
the nipping a little bit. Is there a way to basically not avoid, but discourage it? Yeah, correct it.
Well, there's a couple things that you could do to start. One is when you're in that, like, are you going to take her and there are going to be kids there today?
Oh, she's not going today anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, we switched it up, but there would have been kids today.
Correct, yes.
So one thing you can do, leaving this kind of a leash on or a thinner one. So when you go to the vet, sometimes they give you this like little 4-foot thin, like disposable leash to walk her in and out on, or you can get them online for like $2. It's like this, but it's real thin. Leaving that on her when she's in the house, when she's supervised, actually puts in her head like Big Brother's watching. Like I have a physical something dragging, and it gives them a little bit of a delay in what they do. It also gives you the ability to grab it from a distance and keep her there. You can also, if it's little kids, like get a little foldable kennel that you can put in your car and take it in with you and just go, oh, well, when it's playtime and the kids and I'm not going to be supervising, she can go into the kennel because she's already kennel trained, right? So there's one called a soft crate, which is folds up like a thin suitcase. And then you can unfold it like a tent and pull the parts up and it makes it right back into a kennel. I usually have one in my trunk and that's how I transport my dogs. But that's super easy to bring in and out. There's another one called an X pen, which is metal, and it's like a 4-foot panels or 2-foot panels, and they all fold together. So it's like this thick when it's done, and you can expand it out and put it into whatever position you want. And you can say, hey, when we're going to have all the kids over, like she's young, and you just tell them, it's like she's young and we're trying to train her. And right now, like having a bunch of little hands in her face isn't best for her. And then we put her in there unless you're going to have her on a leash or be close to you. We'll get to the point of not nipping, but kids want to put their hands right in the mouth. Like they go right for the face. And so dogs will respond to that with playfulness because that's how they play. They play with their mouth. And the kids don't know how to do this, right? Like what we've learned how to do and like stop the biting. So then it becomes something else. So I would just do a couple things. Little leash while she's there with us. So that I have ability to grab and control. And when I'm not going to be sitting there with them and be able to say, hey, we're not doing playtime with dogs, I would just put her in a crate and go, hey, we're just putting so that we can pay attention to each other. We're just going to put the dog in the crate for a little bit.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, we usually have the leash on. And even with the leash, she's playing with the kids and the baby Adrian, he gets very excited and wants to start playing a little rougher. And that's when she gets a little more rough too. So maybe it's also on the kid.
Well, and she's like a puppy, and this is like another puppy wanting to play.
Yeah.
And her idea of play is to use her mouth. I mean, that's how they all play, is around the neck and biting and nipping at each other. And so kids incite that, and then they scream about it because that's not what they're accustomed to.
Yeah.
And then everybody's like, the dog. So I just keep them away. I just have had that as kind of my policy, is like, my dogs like older people. They're not a big fan of little ones.
Because I think at least with baby Adrian, my nephew, is that he has a dog of his own, but it's a standard poodle. and he's what, like 4 or 5.
Yeah, he's grown.
Well behaved. So he treats Mango like it's Kai. Like he'll, Kai, no, come over here, like grab her and try to move her.
Right.
Because Kai listens to him, doesn't do anything to him. But she's like, "What are you doing, touching me?" And then afterwards, if she does do that little nip, my sister's like, "Well, why'd you get close to her? Leave her alone." So she tries to also tell him to not go and like start bothering her if she's in her own little world.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, and when we have a personal family dog, especially larger dogs, one, they're more tolerant, but they're also,
Right.
they have figured out in their pack where they belong. So the child
Right.
is still ahead of them in the pack.
Yeah.
So in that pack, it's not appropriate for that dog to bite the child. This isn't part of that pack. And so you come in and it's like, no, you're just another play toy, like those dogs that walked by. Like, we're just going to go
Yeah.
play.
Yeah.
I see.
And
That
so
makes sense.
expecting her to know that is not quite right. And then it's a family dynamic. You don't want to upset your family members, right? So we
Mhm.
trying to keep the peace. So I usually say dogs are for us to enjoy. And as part of that, sometimes we have to just treat them as a dog, not as our family member. Like, it's supposed to be about our enjoyment. They're supposed to add to our enjoyment, not the other way around. Like, we're not living for them.
I see.
And that's hard for us because we fall in love with these guys.
Oh yeah. Hear that, Mango?
We love you.
Mm-hmm. The boarding we're doing, or the doggy daycare. We were gonna try boarding her last night. Actually, just we were taking your advice. We're gonna go a couple times a week for doggy daycare, and then I would like to get her in the routine of actually doing the boarding and making sure that she's comfortable. But the routine of this place I thought was a little bit odd. And then her sister confirmed that actually it's a really great schedule. In the morning, 6 to 6:30, they wake up and there's a little potty break. From 6:30 to 9 a.m. is they eat and then they just kind of hang out in the room for a couple hours. And then from 9 a.m. to 3:30, it's all play. And then from 3:30 to 7, they have dinner in there somewhere and they just kind of hang out in their room again. 7 p.m. is one last potty break, and they go back to the room, and they're basically kept in the room from 7 p.m. until 6 a.m. again, which I was a little bit concerned about, especially because she's a little puppy.
Right.
So
the routine is pretty good. I mean, dogs actually sleep between 12 and 16 hours a day. You don't think about it like, do you think cats are the long sleepers? Dogs do the same. And so getting them into a schedule like that is fine. It'll also be good when you guys are working, going to school and stuff, where you want to have that confidence. So a dog processes urine in 30 minutes, water into urine in 30 minutes, and solids is about 9 hours. So it sounds like they're doing the last feed. They're feeding at 3. And so that one, I could see perhaps that the dog might have to be ready to poop right first thing in the morning. But if they're taking the water up at, say, 5 o'clock and then doing the final potty break at 7, she should be able to go about 8 hours right now.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, she should be able to make it. Puppies go from starting at like 4 months. Oh, this is going to be a good one. Yeah, just hold on tight. And we'll see if they do any of so mom's getting the leash a little tighter, but not too tight. And then, hi there.
Mango.
So it's playful, and it's, I want to play, a little bit of vocalizing, tails up, and then just ask her to sit.
Mango, sit. Mango, sit down. Sit down.
You might have, there we go. And part of that command is also take her eyes off of them. So just turn her to your direction. There you go. And then there's going to be less focus on the other dog. That wasn't a negative. That was like, wow, 2 big black dogs. I want to go hang out. And it was an excited, it wasn't like an aggressive. I didn't like the vocalization at the very end, that little guttural thing. But I think you're going to see that when she gets playing with these other dogs, it's going to be fine. But to the schedule, like, they know better than you and I know, like having all those dogs, what they're comfortable with. Yeah. And depending on how late that last potty break is, if they take the water up at 5 o'clock or 5:30, and then they go out 7 or 8 o'clock at night, she should absolutely be able to make it all night as long as she's not continually drinking. That's where it causes the problem when she keeps drinking the water.
Mhm.
And dogs will do anything they can to not soil their personal space. So, like going to the bathroom, is she going to be in a kennel or?
Their room is it's pretty large, honestly. It's like 7 by 5 or
Oh,
something
so like
crazy.
a Japanese apartment.
Yeah, right. That's exactly right.
So she's got a little apartment. So, worst case scenario, she's going to go piddle in the corner, but she's not going to like blow out her bladder
Mhm.
on that. She will relieve herself before she gets
Okay.
physically hurt. So I'd say it's probably a fairly good schedule. They're getting them into this rhythm of this is when we go, this is what we do.
Okay, maybe that's
So
good.
I'd say it's pretty accurate. And they're there. I'm going to guess somebody's there overnight. It's probably not.
The last person leaves so they go to the room at 7. Last person stays until 8:30, but then no one stays overnight.
Oh, nobody's in the house
Yeah.
overnight or in the building overnight.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I would think just out of safety, they would have somebody that stays there overnight
Yeah.
what if there was an electrical fire, et cetera? You know what I mean?
Yeah, serious.
Those are kind of things that you'd want to be, and they've got the webcam. Maybe they live in an apartment real close, they can run over, but I would wonder, that would be my one thing. I'd be like, oh, if I'm paying you to like babysit,
Uh-huh.
I didn't pay a babysitter to leave my house at 8 o'clock at night and come back
Right.
at 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
but
So we'll
try it once.
Yeah.
And like I said, just start watching that webcam
Mhm.
and find out what they're doing when they don't think anybody's watching. That's what
Yeah,
we're looking for.
Right. Yeah, you did mention that. Just one final question is, she's been like getting on her hind legs and because she's getting bigger, and she's like trying to like look over the counter
Right.
and on the dinner table.
Yeah, counter surfing.
Oh yeah, dude. Is there a way before you had mentioned like the spray bottle or
Right.
something?
So this, you can put a couple, like a can, you can, like a soda can, put a couple of pennies in it and kind of squash it so the pennies can't come out, and you can give it a shake when you say no. So you can have something like an audible correction, an air can, so an air duster.
Oh, the air duster.
For like your computer is one that you can use from a distance and at the same time say no. The third is leave that like disposable leash or thin leash on the dog. And we have a couple of big corrections. So we let her go for it, and then we step on that thing and give it a yank down and like physically correct her from it as we give her a really loud no. When they do rattlesnake training, and it's really hard to watch. Like, so I'm working with somebody that's going to start taking their dogs on hikes, and they want to do rattlesnake training. The way they do that is they actually bring a rattlesnake and they let the dog get close enough to the rattlesnake, and then they give the dog a giant shock, like a giant shock. And this dog associates the smell of that rattlesnake with that shock, and almost 100% of the time never goes back when it's around, because it can smell the snake before it sees it. It will never go close to a rattlesnake again. So that aversion therapy with the rattlesnake training is kind of the extreme approach. There's also a guy online, I forget his name now, I'll remember it in a minute, but he does this technique called boinking. And he takes a washcloth and he rolls it up really tight, like you'd roll it up before you went to swimming and to put it in your backpack, and he puts rubber bands around it. And when the dog goes and does one of those things, he throws that as hard as he can next to the dog. He's not even that concerned if he hits the dog, and he gives it a really loud no command. And it's that aversion, like that is never acceptable. Now, when you watch that, like he gets more hate mail than anyone I've ever seen. When you watch that, it's dramatic, and I won't do that technique. But I mean, that is how they learn in nature. So when it starts to do the table surfing, you want to give it a pretty dramatic correction, whether it's you start with something light, like we always start with the lightest thing and then move up. Like we don't start with the heaviest thing. So start with the shaking of the can, the air gun, the takedown on the leash. You can also really mess with her by putting something up there that she might want to go for. Does she go for food, or is it just a look around?
It's just looking.
Okay.
Oh.
You can put something up there that she would find very attractive and coat it with cayenne pepper. And then she will get this really negative reaction to, I went up there and I got it, and that stuff's terrible. Like, I don't
Mhm.
want to go up there anymore.
Yeah.
That's a different way to approach the whole thing. So there's several ways to do it, but just start with the littlest ones. And if you're not getting a response, you amp it up just a little bit each time.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. I didn't know what the
Jeff
best
Gelman,
approach
that's his
was.
name. Jeff Gelman. He
For the
does
snake
boinking.
training? Oh,
No, he
boinking.
does the boinking thing. If you look him up online, he does a live stream every Monday, and he releases a ton of videos. But he's like the most aggressive dog trainer I've ever seen.
Mm.
He's kind of over the top.
I bet it's pretty effective though as well, probably.
He gets a lot of results. I mean, people that use him love him, but I don't think you have to be that. Like I said, dogs are just like humans. Like, some people that need a real good slap in the head to get them to change. And some people, one hard word like breaks them for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
We don't know who she is yet.
Yeah.
Our sense is she's probably more sensitive, right? Not less sensitive,
Mhm.
not more thick skin. So I would always hate just to go overboard with something, and then you do have a real negative reaction with the dog.
Yeah, she is more curious now, how you had commented on her confidence issues. She's certainly becoming more curious, and I don't know if that's in part with just her getting older or if it is her getting more exposed to.
Well, I think, not to blow sunshine at you, but you guys are doing a really good job. You're taking this very seriously. And that's like, dog reassurance to a dog is like one of the most important things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, knowing they don't know this world, like, we're just forcing them into our world.
Mhm.
So getting reassurance from the people that they believe are their bosses is just like when we get a really good reassurance from our boss or our parent. And it's important to them. So you have done a lot of that just by the fact that you've taken it seriously. You've done it in a good way. You're consistent with it.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to build that confidence over time too. Up, and here comes her first
Oh, is that a
horse.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, you're going to get your first horse.
She's like, what the heck is
That
that
is the
thing?"
biggest dog I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Get a good view of them when they come right by here. Can you sit? Hey, psst. Sit. Mango, psst. Psst. Sit. Sit. And there's no reward because there's not immediate compliance. That's almost like so did you see the tail was straight out that time?
Mhm.
It wasn't up in a happy position, and it wasn't between the legs in an afraid position. That was like alert position. Now this is great. Now we reward. Yes. Yes. That was really good.
Good girl, Mango.
Yeah, that was the I don't know what that is, but I'm ready.